Vintage Backyard RC.
Why hello friends and welcome to Vintage Backyard RC. Well, as promised, we took a few weeks off to clear our heads, but now we're back at it with our latest time attack video. And this is the Tamiya Madcap. Now to be perfectly honest with you guys, not a super fan of the Madcap. I never really liked the body or the plastic shocks or the plastic chassis, but there's an important reason why I picked this car up. And that's because it has the bones of my favorite Tamiya car of all time, and that's the two-wheel drive Astute buggy. They actually went competitive racing with the Astute, so I have a pretty big interest in it. Unfortunately, when you find one, they are super expensive and way out of my price league. So I did the next best thing, and that's pick up a Madcap. And I plan on converting this car as close as I can to an Astute. We'll change the chassis, we'll put some oil shocks on here. We're going to hop this thing all up. But first we have to get a baseline run, as stock as we can get it. You guys may notice I have the incorrect wheels and tires on here. I do not have the factory ones. And these I had already on my holiday buggy. They're very similar to what came on the Super Astute. So no harm, no foul there, guys. I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference on the lap time. So let's have a look under the hood. Let's get it out on the track, see how she does, hit that slow-mo, and have a chat at the end. Released in late 1989, the Tamiya Madcap had pulled some of its resources from the legendary Tamiya Astute racing buggy. This beginner kit featured a plastic ABS bathtub-style chassis that both the front suspension, rear suspension, and gearbox bolted to. The cap featured ABS lower and upper control arms and featured friction damper shocks in both the front and the rear of the car. You can also see the legendary Mabuchi RS540 motor. This was stock as well. The cap shared the Astute sealed rear gearbox and dog bone drive axles. We also added an adjustable rear camber link. The cab featured an external spur gear that drove an internal counter gear. This drove the buggy's ball differential. Now this ball differential is legendary for being very troublesome, hard to rebuild, and not very sturdy. Let's hope mine holds up. A centrally mounted steering servo controls a bell crank steering setup with equal length adjustable tie rod ends. Tamiya Rick rolled us right into this Lexan rear wing and this futuristic buggy body. So let's get her on the track and see what she's got. Stand by. Action. Oof. Okay, guys, there you have it. Well, I got to be honest with you. This took us 2 or 3 takes to get this car to go around the track. It was a fairly miserable drive, a little overpowered for the suspension package on this vehicle. We'll have a chat about that during the slow motion. But let's get to it. Let's see what this thing did a lap in. The Tamiya Madcap did a lap in. Ooh. 11.60, fairly disappointing. There's definitely a reason for it. So let's hit that slow motion and have a chat. You guys stand by. Wow. Well, what happened, guys? It wasn't the worst, but I tell you, it was kind of a pain to drive. This car has a huge flaw, and that is the friction dampers. Now, I own plenty of cars with friction dampers. They drive okay, but on this chassis, boy, are they horrible. I cannot wait to get oil dampers on this car. It's going to make the world of difference, and I tell you what, I just want to take these things and throw them right in the trash can. Now, I know we didn't have the correct wheels and tires on the car. I'm sorry about that, but I really don't think that's what caused the handling issues. I'm nailing it right down to those friction dampers. I can't say it enough. They stink. All in all, that's not a terrible lap, but with a few little upgrades, this car is going to leave that 11.6 in the dust. After all, this is a thoroughbred. It has the bones of the astute. I know I can make this car fast. And I know I usually get into the handling characteristics of the buggy, but this thing was so bad, it just wouldn't be fair. Now, I know it's not a Hornet or a Frog, it definitely handles better than that, but for the suspension package on this car, the gearbox, and the other setups that are on it, it can definitely run way better than it did. So that's about it, guys. I know this car can do better. In fact, I'm going to try to get it as close to an astute as I can afford to, and we'll get it back out on the track and see what she can do. I know it's going to redeem itself, so stay tuned for that. I hope you guys still enjoy this style of video. If you do, please comment down below. I appreciate every one of you. Give me a thumbs up, a sub if you could, and I'll see you back out on the track soon.